Anyway, let me see if I can pull this up. This is really fucking funny. Genshin Impact is getting fined. This could be the end, guys. This could be the end of the waifus. Not yet, but it's coming. It's about 27 minutes of revenue for Genshin Impact. Well, well, what it does is it says they can't do it again, too, right? It's the rule of what's being changed. So, Cognisphere, the developer behind popular game Genshin Impact, has agreed to a $20 million fine to settle charges brought by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. FTC accused them of deceiving players with misleading probabilities for winning in-game items through loot boxes, of improperly collecting personal data from children without parental consent. As part of the settlement, this is the important part. This is the very important part. Listen to this. As part of the settlement, the company is also required to implement new measures preventing players under 16 from buying loot boxes without parental approval. Gentlemen, it may, in fact, be over. That's bad. That's really bad. This is so stupid. No, it's not. In my opinion, I think that any game that sells something with uncertain odds should be classified as gambling and should not be accessible in any capacity by a minor. It's that simple. This is fine. FIFA isn't. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Anyway, we'll get into it. FTC says Genshin Impact deceived. Genshin Impact deceived children, teens, and other players into spending hundreds of dollars on prizes they stood little chance of winning. Let me tell you something. So true. Somebody at the FTC lost their 50-50. And now we're getting real change. And so what really matters here, and so this is the following changes that have to happen to Genshin Impact. Let's take a look at it. Children under 16 will not be able to purchase loot boxes without parental consent. Massive. All loot boxes available for purchase with virtual currency will also be made available for direct purchase using real money. Wow. Loot box odds and exchange rates for multi-tiered virtual currency will have to be accurately disclosed and not misrepresented. Any personal information collected from players under the age of 13 will be deleted. This is a COPPA that's COPPA, which is 13 and below. You can't have their data. And regulations, including its notice to consent requirements, will be complied with. So there we go, gentlemen. Things are looking very bad for the waifu collectors. And the FTC, obviously, they haven't gone through a bunch of the other games. Now, what I find to be very frustrating about this is actually something that I saw a little bit ago, is that I think Genshin Impact is getting, they're getting a little bit of the short end of the stick. And this is kind of what's happened to TikTok as well. The deception Americans can't read. While I do think limiting purchases for children is a good thing, I feel this speaks more to a parenting issue. Also, we all know they're doing this because it's a Chinese game, because EA games are out there doing just fine. Why is it that FIFA can do this, but Genshin Impact can't? What's the problem here? How is this happening? So, basically, Genshin Impact is getting regulated. This is something that is long overdue, okay? It's needed sometimes. Well, yeah, it's needed in the instances of parents being inadequate. No, you're right. There are times where parents are inadequate. They can't garner respect. They can't demand respect from their kid, and they have to hit their kid with threat of violence because they can't earn that respect themselves. No, it's very true. But, you know, it's still not defensible. It's absolutely not. And Genshin Impact fined $20 million for selling loot boxes to teens without parental approval. I hate it when gacha players say, oh, you don't have to spend any money, or this gacha game is different from other gachas. Like, yeah, sure, buddy, as if that's the only problem with these kinds of games. Well, listen, if you're playing a gacha game, you are signing up to be a eater. That's it. You are signing up to be a leader. That's all there is to it. I think that if you have kids getting involved with this stuff, that's a totally different topic. And I think it's a huge fucking problem. Because, like, and this is a big issue, that the majority of games that are advertised to kids, or sorry, the majority of games that have loot boxes that are in, like, the Apple and, like, the Google Play Store, the majority of the ones that have loot boxes are accessible to children. And loot boxes do simulate gambling. They're not gambling, but they are close to gambling. And I think that they do simulate that experience. Oh, by the way, yesterday I saw a Fent zombie. You know, you don't see a lot of them in Austin, or at least like you haven't for a while. I was walking up to get some food, and he just shambled past me. He asked me if I had a lighter. And I was like, no, bro, I don't have a lighter. And then, you know, that was about it. The rare spawn, yeah, maybe there's more of them here. You don't go out, they're everywhere? Well, I usually don't see them a whole lot, right? To be honest, I usually leave my house twice a day. I would say like once a day in like a meaningful way to like drive more than like to the gas station. But yeah, I usually leave the house almost every day. So I don't know about that. Go walking? Yeah, I guess so. He probably thought you were one of them. Yeah, I guess so. And anyway, so this is what's happening, is that the FTC is going to be doing this, and I think it's going to keep happening, and it's going to be more and more common that more and more people that are involved in regulation will understand the way that these games are trying to target children. Because what's happening right now is that a lot of these companies, they're getting away with it because the regulatory forces don't understand the video games and they don't get what's going on. Because they're not playing the games, they don't understand it at all. Now they are, and here we go. And so, and people are talking about this a lot. Not to defend a multi-billion-dollar company, but aren't the gacha mechanics explained in game? If you're allowing your kids to spend your money on a gacha game, then that's just bad parenting. I'm sorry. I think this guy is totally fucking right. So both things can be true. If your kids are taking your money and spending it without you knowing, you're a shitty parent, but they're also making a shitty game. So you don't need to decide one thing is right and one thing isn't right. They're both right, and they're both dumb. That's it. The US is coming for every Chinese soft power win TikTok. Gaming, you name it. Yep, I think that's exactly it. I think that Genshin Impact is being targeted primarily because they are a Chinese company. And the fact is that FIFA, whatever Genshin Impact does, FIFA does it way worse and to a much higher degree. That's it. Man. Hopefully this is what's next. This is what should be next. Genshin Impact is being regulated by the government. Hopefully this is the beginning of the end of all of these video games that are introducing pseudo-gambling mechanisms. Obviously, I play a lot of them. Some of them have great gameplay, and I enjoy them. But at the same time, I do think that they are... I would say that they are predatory because they target people who are underage, and they also do things that are uncertain. And I feel like all gambling is predatory to some degree. There's obviously a tier list to this, but they are on the list. So yeah, it's that simple. FTC is hopefully going to do this more, and I think this is a huge fucking W. Massive fucking W. And hopefully we see more of this. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think it's a great thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, definitely.